Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Coleman Mason, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create an explosion here inside of Adobe After Effects. Now, this is an advanced tutorial, so I'll be going through this fairly quickly. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so that's what we're going to be creating today. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is open up a new composition. And let's go ahead and drag and drop our green screen cement block layer on here. Now, looking at this, you can tell that we have a couple things going on here. We have the explosion, we have some dust and debris, and the cement block breaking. So let me go ahead and start with that. So I want the explosion to probably start about right here. So we hit Alt and left bracket on our keyboard, we'll be able to trim that up. And under our effects and presets, let's go ahead and type in key light. Let's drag and drop that on here. So let's go ahead and get rid of the key light of the green, and let's go ahead and go to our screen matte settings and turn up the clip black and tone down a little bit where the clip white is. And now looking at this, you'll be able to see that we have a nasty blue type of ring around here. So what we're going to want to do is under the shrink and grow, let's change this to -1. So now that looks a lot better, and now that's what we have. Alright, so that looks good. So now what we're going to need to do is add our explosion in here. So let's go ahead and turn off our top layer. And let's align this up correctly. And if we hit Alt right bracket, we'll be able to trim that up. Now, since this particular video clip is trimmed up here, let's go ahead and hit S on our keyboard, scale this up to about right there. And let's turn this back on, and let's scale this up a little bit as well. Now this is what we have going on. So, alright, that looks alright. And since this particular video clip wasn't green screen, it was on black, so we won't be able to do the key light settings on here. But what we'll be able to do is if we drag and drop our video clip on here, you can't see it, it's because it's behind the green screen element. But if we hit toggle switches, changes from normal to add, you will be able to see the actual road here. So it looks really distorted and bad right now, but that's alright, we'll deal with that later. So let's go ahead and hit delete. And alright, so on our dust layer, let's go ahead and find a point that we're going to want to do. And I think about right there will do. So hit Alt left bracket and trim this up. And hit Alt right bracket. And if we change this from normal to add, we'll be able to see everything else again. So, alright, so in the beginning, let's bring our dust element up here. And as time goes on throughout here, we'll be able to see that this dust element stops and it looks very bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go under transform and turn on the stopwatches, and then about right here, let's just drag this out. So now what we just created was an animation of the dust coming outwards. So let's turn off these sounds. And so yeah, this is what we have here, and it looks alright. The cement, the dust is in between the cement block and the explosion, but it looks good for the beginning. But as time progresses throughout here, we're going to need this to be in front. And in order to do that, we need to turn on our 3D And let's create a new camera layer as well. Now let's put this on the top. And under our second view horizontal, we'll be able to see that the green screen cement should be somewhat in the middle, and the dust should be in between that and the explosion. Okay, so then you can see, but as time goes on, you're gonna want this dust to be in front of the cement block. And now this is what we have going on here. It's behind, and poof, it goes forward. Okay. And let's fix this up a little bit. So as it's behind, it then now goes forward. And let's drag this down a little bit as well. Oops, the dust element, my bad. Drag this down. Alright, so now this is what we have going on, and it looks alright, other than this now should be upward. Alright, so boom, looks pretty good. Now the next thing that we're going to need to do is drag and drop our background layer, whatever that is, if it's a video clip or just an image. But for this tutorial, we're just using an image. So if you hit S on your keyboard, you should be able to scale this up appropriately to match your composition. Let's go ahead and turn these off. So as you can see the hill, I want the explosion to take place a little bit behind the hill, making it a little bit more realistic for this scene. Let's go ahead and mask out our top hill. And I'm just doing this fairly quickly for the sake of the tutorial, but for yours, hopefully you've masked out a little bit cleaner and around the actual trees. So we're going to go ahead and Control D, which means to duplicate your footage, and then we're going to go ahead and hit Control D. And under your mask, let's hit Control C to copy, and Control V to now paste. So under your mask, let's change it from add to subtract. Actually, I pasted that twice. So now, if we turn on our 3D layer and go onto the second horizontal view, we're going to want to bring the foreground forward and the now background back further, and we're going to want to bring this downwards. And if we turn all the other ones on, now you should be able to see that the explosion takes place now behind the hill. And now the explosion is a little bit big, so let's go ahead and bring this over a little bit more and hit S and scale this downwards. And we're going to do the same thing for the cement blocks. Let's go ahead and scale this down as well. And we're going to want to bring this upward. And alright. So boom. So now we have created a 3D type of scene, and this dust element is very bright. So under our settings, let's change the opacity down to about 45%. Now you should be able to see a little bit better. And alright, so now since we created a camera and everything's 3D and everything has its own individual layering, what we now created was a 3D environment. So if we hit our orbit tool, you should be able to see that we have a 3D type of of effect going on here, and it's all just layered on top of each other, but now we created a three-dimensional type of effect. So if we go ahead and from the beginning, under the camera 1 and under transform, go ahead and highlight all of your toggle switches here, and let's bring it to about right here, and let's create a little bit of an animation tilting sidewards. So now we just created a little bit of 3D-ness to our scene. So as you can see, it kind of tilts like that. And if you want to, speed that up a little bit. And I don't like how this now looks like it's floating on top, so let's go ahead and bring this down. Alright. So yeah, let's go ahead and type in curves, and let's throw some curves onto the foreground and the background, and we can drag this down a little bit, create it a little bit darker. And now for the background, we're going to need to make this a little bit darker so we can help pull out the actual explosion. And for the explosion, let's throw some curves onto that as well. Pull that down, go under the red, bump up some of the red. And under our hue and saturation, oops, we'll bring that down, we can bring that up, and now we've just made this explosion a little bit better integrated in the scene. So if we go ahead and pre-compose this layer, and we can just name it explosion, oops, and let's go ahead and hit S on our keyboard, scale this up, and we can now bring that up a little bit more. Now we can scrub through here a little bit and create our own type of camera shake. Alright, so now what we just did was created our own camera shake. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to see more tutorials, go ahead and go through my YouTube channel. There's some more on there, and if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. But that's it for today, guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial.